show you how to install new lights on your gauge cluster for the S13. As many of you probably know, your factory lights suck eventually. After 17 plus years, they're gonna be dull, they're gonna be yellowed out, and whatever. And most of us want like an updated look and make our car look better. It's not that hard to do it. It's really easy. It's just, you know, unbolting a few things, unplugging a few things, and that's about it. So before we start anything, a couple tools you're gonna need. You're gonna need a Phillips screwdriver. If you can, get a stubby one too, because you'll need that. You're gonna need a ratchet and an extension or two if you can get two. And you're going to need a 12mm socket. So after you get all those tools together, we can go ahead and start taking apart the interior. Okay, the first step is going to be to remove these bolts on the kick panel, as I call it. There's 5 bolts. I only have 2 on mine, and these are 10mm bolts, so I lied. You need a 10mm as well. So go ahead and get your 10mm and take these 5 bolts out. Okay, after you have these kick panel bolts off, if your car is not broken like mine is, you're gonna have a bolt down here, this one, that's also gonna be a 10mm, and then you're gonna have a bolt behind this thing. This is not that hard to take off. There's that one little screw right there, and then you'll have a screw right there, and then this thing will kind of pop off. And then you'll have a bolt right there, and mine is broken, as you can see, but you'll need to remove that. Okay, with those bolts removed, you can go ahead and pop your kick panel out. You'll notice that your hood popper thing is going to be holding on to it. That's held on by 2 Phillips screwdrivers. So go ahead and get the Phillips to undo the hood latch. Okay, you can slide that out. And again, if your car is not broken like mine is, you're gonna have a plug in here. That plug is basically just to power this light. So you need to unplug that, and then we'll have this out of the car. All right, the next step is to remove this steering column shroud. There's a couple screws on here. There's one there. There. Oh wow. Okay, there's 2 there. There's one here. You don't have to take those 2 off. There's one here, and there's one here. So those are Phillips head screws. So go ahead and take those out. Okay, when you have the bottom part off, go ahead and take your key garnish piece out, and this top part you have to kind of wiggle out of here. I don't really know of an actual method, but you just have to like wiggle it out. Yeah, if you have just be careful not to break anything. There you go. If you have a key ring light, go ahead and remove that, just in case it feels like breaking. After you have the steering column shroud off, you have to take these 2 screws out for this bezel. This is what the stubby is for. It's just really easy to get these screws out with that. So go ahead and do that. Okay, this next part is kind of hard to see on camera, but I'm just going to show you. What we want to do is drop the steering column inside the car, and to do that, you have to locate these 2 bolts. There is this one right here, and then symmetrically on the other side, you will see that one. I believe those are both 12mm bolts, and all we want to do is remove those so that we could drop the steering column. And you're going to need an extension to get up there as well. Okay, I consider this to be the hardest part of this whole thing, is taking this bezel off. This thing is kind of fragile, so you don't want to break it, and it has like 1,000,003 buttons in here that you have to unplug. The way to take this off is there's these clips under here. You just have to pull down, and that kind of releases it from the dashboard, and then you just have to play with it until it comes out. Okay, now we've come to the rewarding part, which is taking this out. There's 3 screws. There's one back here, there's one up here, and then symmetrically on the other side, there's one over here. I think it's being blocked by the angle. But go ahead and take those 3 screws out with the Phillips. And you will see these plugs on the back. Okay, just keep track of where they are. It should be fairly obvious when you're plugging them back in, but you know, just in case. So go ahead and take these plugs out. And here is your prize. Okay. Alright, so I went ahead and brought the gauge cluster inside. Obviously this is the heads-up display gauge cluster. If you flip it over, this is for the S13 by the way, if you flip it over, you'll see these red little knobs. The way you take this out is you just turn it to the left and then you pull it out like that. All of these big knobs over here are 194 type bulbs. So if you go to superbrightleds.com or whatever, you're going to want to look for 194 bulbs, and then you can get whatever color you want. As you can see, you're going to need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is the normal one, the analog gauges. For these, it's the same on the back, 194 bulbs, and it's just these 3 that you need to change. These 2 are the gas and battery lights, so the little light that tells you if your battery is being weird, or the light that tells you if your gas is low. That's how you change those. You're gonna go ahead, and all you have to do now is just take the gauge cluster and put it back in your car. So that's pretty much it. Let's go do that.